Hello, everybody. Welcome back here in the den for Sound Off Sports. I'm Mike Davis. Listen, it's Masters Week. We got to talk a lot of golf. We got to talk about one of my favorite organizations in town. That's the Nevada Donor Network. But we have somebody you're going to fall in love with, because this person not only was a former professional golfer, not only went to IMG Academy, not only the president and CEO of PGD Global, but this person is going to educate us on all things golf in the prime week when we're all loving golf. And guess what? She's wearing a green jacket for Masters Week. It's Nisha Sadekar. Nisha, great to be with you. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Wore all this on purpose, right?
I did. Yes, it's all intentional. They didn't make, green jackets for women, so we just had to make them ourselves.
I love it. It looks good on you. You also got the Nevada Donor Network blue and green thing going.
It's Donate Life Month, so touches of blue and green are important.
We're going to be getting into everything. We're announcing a date for the Nevada Donor Network Golf Invitational.
Yes.
You guys at PGD Global, I was doing my research. You guys put on the best events when it comes to anything golf. I'm talking Alonzo Mourning, Dr. J, Jalen Rose, KG, Paul P. Everybody, if they're putting on an event, they come to you. Explain what you guys do, you and your sister, Seema.
Yeah, so we at PGD Global put on and produce golf tournaments, but more golf experiences. We understand that the game of golf is really not, created or curated for everybody. So what we do, because we've played pro, we know what it's like to be left out. All our events have pockets and pillars of inclusion, so everybody can come. So if you're not golfing and you're a woman, we have a clubhouse lounge. So please come and enjoy and spectate. In order to become comfortable with golf, you can start to have lunch in the clubhouse. You can start to do little things to get you exposed to the game.
It's true. And it's funny because, you are one of the first Indian pro golfers that were ever on the tour.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because in these country club sports like tennis and golf, it might not be in your face as much today. But for instance, my dad, when he was a tennis pro and teaching at clubs, he couldn't even be Jewish and go to some of these clubs and be on staff because they didn't let Jews into certain country clubs.
Yeah.
Being Indian and, the diversity nature of today's world is a lot different than those country club sports used to be back in the day. So you guys are also just bringing a different kind of vibe and opening up the world of golf to so many people. Is that a big way of how you look at it?
Absolutely. I think that's the core of how we look at it.
Yeah.
And we do, with every event, try to figure out how can we do better? How can we include more people? Going to the golf course when we were little girls, me and my sister, we felt it. But I think the better we got at the game, the more we earned our identity and the right to be there. So it's like, yes, you may have people that look like they belong in the game and they, hit it sideways. But here comes me and my sister in, cute Indian outfits that, we push the envelope.
Right,
but
that's the thing. Yeah. It's a shame because if you're waspy, you have the luxury to hit the ball sideways. If you're Indian, you might not be able to have that luxury unless you're, really work on your game and you develop that confidence. So your whole history, you're born in Toronto.
Yes.
And you start at the age of 12, I believe, really competing, at golf in a real crazy sense. But when did you actually first pick up a club and start, learning the game?
I would say 10 years old. So I'm going to go before Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Because I feel like when Tiger Woods came onto the scene, we got excited about it. We're like, oh, cool. The game is cool. But before, we were in Greg Norman oversized shirts, Dockers pleated khakis, and my dad would starch and iron them because that's what he thought, was appropriate. And we would just go play and figure it out. I almost laugh because my parents used the golf course as a daycare center. So at 10 or 11, he would just drop us off and we would play 36. We would practice out of the bunker. We would just, take lessons. So it just became part of our natural lifestyle to just be at the course and earn confidence at the course.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so you end up 12 really competing competitively. You start gaining some confidence. At what point do your parents decide, hey, Nisha and Seema are getting so good at golf. We need to actually invest in this further and send them to Florida to go to the IMG Academy and really make this a thing.
At the time, living in Toronto, it was cold. A lot of, what are we doing with our friends? We're going to go to the mall and we're going to hang out. And I think my dad and my mom said, okay, no, instead of on the weekends, you're going to play tournaments. So they entered us into local tournaments. And we have the Southern Nevada Golf Association here that has a junior program. And so on the weekends, you had to compete. And when you're competing, it does take all day. And so that locked up the day. And then the next day you had to prepare and, go play golf again. And so as we got better, the opportunities, I think, to play in larger tournaments got better. But we weren't able to own our skills in Toronto year round. And so the natural thing to do was look at golf schools. And we were just talking about this with you leaving to go to a tennis academy.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave your family. But I think when you're so young, you don't really think twice about it. You're a little fearless, right? Like going for a par 5 and 2 is like, oh, okay, let me do it, right? Now we've experienced chunks and going into the water. We're like, let me lay up, right? So a lot of life now, we're living carefully as a layup. But as a kid, you go for the green, and I think our parents wanted to give us that opportunity. And then from there, it led to opportunities for a collegiate scholarship. So my sister going to UNLV.
You went to Missouri.
Yep, University of Missouri. And, knowing how to build relationships.
Right.
I think there's so many advantages to golf. If you're a golfer, if you're a young person playing golf, you're picking up skills in life, separate from the game. And that went from tennis.
Yeah, I think if you invest in anything enough and you get so good and you put in those Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours in any type of field, you can start applying that to everything in life. Don't you think, though, the problem with adulthood and getting older is that people stop going for the green?
Yeah.
As kids, we're so fearless with things. And there's so many things I reflect upon personally that I can't believe that I had that gumption when I had no right to have that gumption, and I still think, there is something about that, about just going for it, that I think keeps you young and is important. And I feel like you're doing that with PGD Global and the things that you're striving to make. One of your videos, what I found so fascinating is like people were coming up to you saying like, I never saw a DJ like even associated at a golf event on a green. It would be like a cello, it would be a harp,
violin.
It would be a violin, it would be something not, I like classical music, but it could be stuffy to some people. Yeah. And then when you start talking about certain cultures and types of people that you're trying to, open up the world of golf towards, you started breaking barriers by just doing simple things that really make a lot of sense. So I'm assuming golf really not only gave you confidence in that field, but it also gave you the confidence to try things.
Yesterday we took a client, good friend of ours, golfing for the first time. She's never played. And she was like hitting the ball and it was advancing, but she never really swung and missed. And we saw that as a great thing. And she was just like, but yours is going so far, but you have to grow into that. And it was probably on the 5th hole where she did swing and miss, but her next swing, she hit it the furthest that she ever did. So in life, golf teaches you these things where you just have to keep going. You always have another shot in golf. Just like sports in general, you always have another shot.
Well, anybody who's played golf knows it's that one shot you hit that keeps you coming back.
Yeah.
It's the whole day could be a mess, but you hit one and it feels good.
And then you have something to talk about in the clubhouse.
You're locked in. So I'm curious. So you're at IMG. What's the deal? Are you crying every day? Are you like, what's going on? Because you're just... You loved it from the get-go.
Yeah, I met so many people from all over the world, like countries I'd never even heard of, like Tunisia, and when I'm having lunch, we'll sit down with our trays and, you're sitting next to soccer players and basketball players.
Who is there with you? What age are you and what year is this? Because there's a lot of professional athletes that come out of that IMG.
Oh, yeah.
Especially more so now today. I mean, but give me the year, how old you were, and who was there.
Yeah, it was 1995.
Okay.
And you're looking at, like, I think the top male player at that time was Sergio Garcia.
Okay, yeah.
And Paula Creamer played there. I think she was actually there before we got there.
Okay.
It was a young program when we got there.
What about even just other sports? Who else was there from other sports?
Oh gosh, Andre Agassi, the Williams sisters, the tennis. Bollettieri was, you know, a tennis program, and then they branched off into other sports. So every top tennis player was there from all over.
Right, because Bollettieri and IMG, came together.
Yeah, and basketball came along later.
Right.
But we had a soccer program, and they actually trained all of the U.S. national teams. So under 12. 15 and under, the 8 and under. So we were all going to school together in classes, like everything, and then eat,
So yeah, paint a picture, because I'm just so curious about this. So you're like, the lunch lady with the hairnet. She scoops out some green beans on a plate and a tray. Are you in line?
A lot of pasta for some reason.
A lot of pasta. Well, you need carbs after all that, right? But are you like the
not the golfers, but maybe the tennis players.
But the tortellini goes on the tray.
For sure.
Are you like staggered and you're like, oh, hi, Serena, hi, Venus. You're like in between. Like, was it that?
Yeah, but nobody points anybody out or anything. You just kind of carry along.
And now, are you allowed to sit at this? Like, would you sit at the same table, or are the golf students sit with the golf students?
So the tables were like, those big tables with like 18 chairs, and then they collapse and fold up into like.
Oh yeah.
So like they would unfold all those for lunch, and then we would just.
But what are the social dynamics? Like, would you really sit down and just ham it up with Andre, or did golfers stick with golf?
Well, Andre was older at the time.
Yeah.
Like, he was playing on the professional circuit, but I think everybody just had this level of understanding and respect, because everybody had to go and practice or be somewhere. Like, we also had training, working out. We'd have to get up, some of us, at 5:30. So like Tuesdays and Thursdays, you'd have to rotate out, when you go to your training. So the whole day you always had to be on. And then on top of that, we had to go to school.
Right.
So from 8:30 to 12:30. So after workouts in the morning, or some people had early practice, depending on the sport, you'd have to go to school.
Right. So how old are you at this point?
I'm 14 at the time.
Man,
yeah.
This is like, so now you're living your childhood. I feel like, I mean, that is intense. I mean, it's a lot of pressure for a 13-year-old, because think about this for everybody at home. It's like, it's not just the pressure to succeed, but your parents are paying for you to be there. You feel like you have to rise to the occasion. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. It is. But you develop this sense of respect and camaraderie, and it's almost this energy of competition around you that's healthy.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like moments where, but everybody is being competitive. Everybody wants to be better. And so when you're around that energy and that mindset, you believe that. You live in that.
Who is the hardest worker at IMG that you witnessed?
Oh my gosh, there's everybody.
If you had to pick one.
Probably there was a guy named David Gossett.
Okay.
David Gossett actually played in the Masters. He was the #1 amateur, in the world, or potentially, the country at that time. And he would get up really early, stay late. He never really socialized. He was really, really focused.
Yeah. When you see,
I like to socialize, like even back then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I don't know him. I got to do some research on him. But, it's interesting, because do you think, I wouldn't even ask this question unless it was in the news last week, but, do you find that pressure, being 13, I mean, Tiger's pressure was crazy, because he was on Johnny Carson at like 4 years old, right? Or something. Do you, when you see the story in the news from last week about just, more medications, another DUI kind of situation, do you just feel for him in the sense you can see that he's hurting, because that he still can't remove himself from the pressure of being a youngster and what that was like? It does seem like that starting to get at this point. So I feel like outsiders might not be able to sympathize, whereas somebody like you could probably see the pain.
Yeah. I love Tiger. Like, I remember being 16 and watching him play in the Masters, and at that time we had the VHS tapes, and I was recording it because I wanted to watch it over and again. I wanted to watch his body language, his, so his whole career, like even on Sundays, if we're at, Easter brunches with the family, it's like, Tiger's about to tee off, so can we wrap this up? Like,
Right.
But, I think for him to have that much success and just be undeniably incredible at the most difficult sport in the world and make it look so effortless, he gives you that feeling too, right? And I think when it came to an end, and it never did come to an end because he was supposed to even play in the Masters, and he looked great, and he's got the TGL going. I think when there's no one to hold you accountable after a certain point, in terms of what you can or can't do, because he can do anything. And so I look at it more of a sense of control and accountability within his environment. And I think, we all know just naturally, if you're driving and taking pills or whatever it may be, we don't really, know exactly what went on. But there is a sadness, and I think we need to like give him grace in whatever sadness or whatever part of his life that is missing that he's given us. Maybe he feels he can't give it to us anymore. Maybe he feels, sad in himself. It could be no one is holding him accountable for being, Tiger 2.0. Maybe it's not winning the Masters again. Maybe it is doing TGL. But Tiger is an incredible person first. And I think if we lead with the person, and then work backwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. What I'm hearing you say almost is like he's a victim of his success. Like it sounds like struggling with, okay, you reach that apex, you get to be the best, and then what, and what the issues that come with that of actually reaching that pinnacle. I think, we all know the stories. Mike Agassi and Andre Agassi, Earl Woods and Tiger Woods. There's a lot of pressures associated with those types of parents and, what that does to a kid. I definitely think we've seen it in music. Yeah. We've seen it in so many different disciplines, but it is fascinating. But it is crazy how he broke barriers in that sport and how he just, beyond just from a diversity standpoint, but just the fact that he made it appointment television is such a crazy thing. Out of all the people that have career Grand Slams, and we're going to talk about Rory McIlroy and how he did that last year. But for Tiger, I mean, he really made it appointment television golf. He made people who are not golfers interested in golf. What was it just the ease, and what would you say it was? Because there's so many people. The
excitement, the difference.
What you're, as a golfer, I can't describe it so much, but what beyond him compared to a Nicklaus or Mickelson or any of these other, Palmer, when you watch him, what does he do to a supernatural level that drew everybody in?
One of the other clients that we work with is the NAACP.
Yeah.
And in knowing that people of color weren't really allowed to play golf until after 1965, so 3 generations of golf, yet we're celebrating, hundreds of years of golf, right? And for him to do what he did, I think revved up the industry, because I think the industry also saw dollars, right? Different points of revenue. Who is the new consumer? There was this excitement of, wow, golf 2.0. Like, what is golf turning into? And it's exciting everybody, not just one person. And I know, because even, people in our family, Indians are typically, your doctors, your dentists, your engineers, and then so here comes me and Seema playing golf, and we even brought family out to the golf course that never had been to a golf course, and would, so you'd see this Indian contingency of people following Seema and I, in Canada and some of the different championships that we played in. And that was on a very micro level. So put that into perspective for Tiger, and now you're seeing this whole new world of golf emerge. And because of Tiger, we're now seeing LeBron pick up a club.
Right.
We're seeing women that, are of color, you know, and many diversities picking up clubs that would never even consider it. And I do believe he truly made it exciting. He made it relevant for me to want to go to practice. He revved me up to want to stay late and work on my putting.
I mean, to me as an outsider, I love the fact that he made it seem like, not that being a golfer isn't an athlete, but he was the first person who really made it seem like he was cut. He was a prime,
swole.
you know, he was like in top physical condition. Like he really made it seem like this is a guy who's taking all aspects of being an athlete into consideration here. And, you know, that's what's so, it's similar to Serena Williams. I think it's just the way that they became the best.
Yeah.
And for people, I'm not going to call out people for being racist, but a lot of people are not accepting, and they had a certain mentality of who should be at the top tier level in golf or tennis. And then they became so undeniably good, so undeniably even just likable, you know, part of their personalities and their charisma associated with them, that just, it made it a beautiful thing, and I think it opened up a lot of barriers. And so that's why it's sad to see something going on with Tiger, like what's going on with him, because he did give so much to the world and to the sport. So
and we still love him.
How many interactions have you had with him?
A few, especially in Vegas. You know, he would come and he would play out here. And you know, Seema was at UNLV at the time. This is like close to 20 years ago. And he was always so nice, so funny. And he would, I remember the one day we were getting ready to kind of go have some dinner, and he had come in from practice, and he was saying that he got up early in the morning, he ran 4 miles, then he went swimming before he went to practice.
Yeah. He was so committed, so determined. Yeah. What about his golf game, before we get into master stuff, what about his golf game that you think stood out to you from a standpoint of excelling? What like technical? Get in the weeds here.
Yeah.
I'm curious what he did from a technical standpoint as a golfer that is just masterful in your mind.
Like putting and chipping, like short game, is so difficult, and especially if you kind of you're not an everyday golfer. It's hard to develop a rhythm or a momentum. So even if you take 2 weeks off, you know, it's hard. And, you know, when you look at Tiger and his ability to get up and down, or his ability to focus and, you know, drop putts that I remember it was the US Open, I believe, and he dropped like a 35-footer downhill, you know, to go into, I think it was a playoff or something. And how? Like, I think we would always just be like, how? Even when he's about to make a bogey and he has to hit a flop shot, he holds out the flop shot. Like, his short game and his ability to focus and understand the greens, you know, that's intrinsic. Like, that is what he developed when he was a young child, was the ability to read the greens, have that touch, work on those fearless shots that never left him, you know, because he stayed with the game. Yeah.
Wow, I got chills. That's the moment you clipped for social media. When you said the word intrinsic, I started getting all excited.
Yeah.
That's true. And I was watching some videos with you and your sister this morning, and I was trying to work on my short game myself. So your sister, Seema, was saying, you know, you got to just have a straight backswing when you're putting, and a straight, you know, forward follow through, and just keep it very seamless. You were talking about kind of committing to the line that you're gonna go with.
Yeah.
You know, find your line, and when you're putting, just commit to it. What did you mean by that?
So when you're putting or anything, you know, part of preparing for the shot, it's not just hitting the shot, it's preparing for the shot. So you have to be in your moment, and you have to pick the line that you either want to hit your shot or your putt. But when you decide that that's what you want to do, do that. Because with so many people, they'll they'll decide, or
It's
they
the
may not
second
even
guess.
decide.
You're saying the second guessing is what screws over a lot of golfers?
Yeah, and also that pre-shot routine. Some people don't even have that. They're just like, oh, go there, and then they go there.
Wow.
But you need to stand, and when you're watching the Masters this week, right?
Yeah.
Watch the pre-shot routines. Watch the focus that happens before the shot, because what they're doing is they're deciding, and when they're over it, they're just committing to that shot. So part of golf, yes, is hitting the shot. Like, you've got to be able to hit the shot. But I think, committing to that, not decelerating, say, this is what I'm going to do, and do it. In golf, you have two decisions. You either do it or you don't. And fortunately, you have another shot, right? If you don't.
So the mechanism to commit and the mechanism to just have a pre-shot ritual, you think, does that separate the top 1% of golfers from, like, is that something that's
less than 1%?
Yeah, so that's just a little thing right there. It's nothing to do about mechanics or anything. It's just about having an internal, mechanism where you could say, okay, I'm committing to this line, I'm committing to this shot, and getting yourself in the zone. What was your I just got done reading Atomic Habits, which I loved. And he's really big into, like, rituals, and ritualizing simple things, whether it's just, getting yourself up in the morning and brushing your teeth and getting into the, making your cup of coffee.
Yes.
He's very big into rituals, which I agree with. And there's something special about that. So what was take me through your process when you were on the green, you're trying to get to that place before you make that internal decision, I'm committing to this line. What was your ritual?
So I always, it has a name. It's called a pre-shot routine.
Okay.
And when you watch the Masters this week, everybody has a pre-shot routine and also a trigger. So a pre-shot routine, I would go behind the ball, and even when I'm watching my competitors, hit their shots, I'm visualizing and I'm seeing where I want to go. I'm checking the wind.
Okay.
Those things are intrinsic. Those things, they're with you, but you have to acknowledge that they're with you. So as you're standing behind, you pick your line. If I'm hitting a draw today, I'm going to work with my draw. If I'm hitting a fade today, I'm going to work with my fade. I don't want to work against myself. I want to work with what I have today. And so I'll say, okay, I want to go just left of center, knowing that I'm going to draw it, right? I hit a natural draw.
What does that mean?
The ball goes from right to left.
Oh, okay.
And a fade is left to right. So it's also called a cut,
Okay.
But once, I'll check the wind. I'll take usually 2 practice swings. And then when I set up, I'll look down the fairway, look back at the ball, and go. And that right there, looking up and looking back, is my trigger. So I know I've started my swing. I've started my swing before I even take it away.
And if you move off of that, once you look back and come back and then you readjust, because I'm sure in your golf playing history, you second guessed at points, you did the turn back and you decided to move off of it and choose a different line, and I'm sure every time you choose a different line it doesn't work.
Sometimes you get away with it,
but most of the time
sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get away with it, right? But that's few and far between.
Wow.
You have to work on your own perfection, and that's why, I'm going to go back to golf as life. That's in any decision. I'm going to send this email, I'm going to work out, I'm going, what is the trigger? Okay, I'm going to have a little protein shake, routine. You just talked about brushing your teeth. You don't even think about that when you wake up, right?
Yeah.
And so that's eventually what the golf swing turns into. It's yesterday our friend called it, oh, this is like a little dance. Yeah. It's a little shimmy, or it's yours.
Yeah.
And another thing too that I think especially newer golfers struggle with is they think they're bothering other people. And one of the things that I always tell, our new golfers, when you're hitting your shot, that's your moment. Nobody can take that away from you. So own your moment. Take your time. Don't worry about it. And if people are behind you and you have got to pick up the pace, okay, but still be in your moment. That's your moment.
That's why I think it's so fascinating, being a woman of color, like, everybody feels that when they're about to hit their driver and do their thing, regardless of race or anything. But then I think when you're a little kid and you're, developing that skill, you feel more eyes on you.
You do.
You know, and I feel,
You feel like you're in the way.
right.
But
And
you're not.
no, you're not. It's a great lesson for life. So just like how you find your line and you commit to it, take me to the nature of you working with the Nevada Donor Network and how I'm sure you saw the opportunity, you saw the line, and you didn't hesitate with this baby, because we all know, shout out to my guy, Gordon Prouty, Gordy,
The best.
the best man.
Best dressed man at all times.
100%. That's a guy who deserves a green jacket for not even doing anything.
He has like
golf
7.
Oh, I know. Once he took that job, boom. The next day he was getting all the suits and the colors.
I'm like, you can't play golf, Gordy, because you're going to win best dress. You can't.
No. Yeah. He doesn't sweat though. I don't believe it. Tell us, when you saw that opportunity to work with them, what was the opportunity you saw there, and why was it such a perfect fit?
Well, I didn't realize what the Nevada Donor Network was. And when Gordy and the team approached us, they had done a small golf tournament and, in the past. And so they wanted to grow it and make it bigger. Their mission and their purpose in Nevada is so much more. They touch so many more states with their programs and organ donation. I didn't realize. And so as they brought us in like family. So we met everybody. Everybody was so gracious and welcoming. We were included in a lot of their other, fundraising events. And so with the golf, they didn't really give us much in terms of what they were doing in the past. And they gave us the freedom to say, go, make this special, include everybody. Because what we did learn too, similarly, there's not a lot of golfers within the Nevada Donor Network staff, but they have a lot of people and friends and colleagues that love to play golf. Naturally, we live in Vegas, we love to play golf. So it was an opportunity to grow messaging through the game of golf and include people and spend the day. Golf is a gift in a sense of you get to be outdoors, right? A lot of sports are played indoors and you sweat.
Right.
But with golf, it's a great day. And it is Monday, October 5th at Las Vegas Country Club, which is one of the oldest golf courses here in Las Vegas. So much history. And it allows the Nevada Donor Network Foundation to come together, raise money, but also play golf, enjoy the sponsors. We've got breakfast, lunch, dinner, the whole thing. And accordingly, you can come, when you're available. But if you're golfing, you're there the whole day. We have a lovely gifting lounge. So it's a full day, and we almost treat it like the players are on tour. So we have a digital scoreboard. We have handheld digital devices. So it's an elevated golf experience, but at the same time, you're learning about all the things that the Nevada Donor Network does.
No, you've done a great job. I can see just from, watching what you do at PGD, just the videos, you really take out the stuffiness of golf and you make it very accessible to, a widespread audience, which I think is a great thing. We're here in the Den, Sound Off Sports, hanging out with Nisha Sadekar, President CEO of PGD Global, announcing the big news, October 5th. That's when the Nevada Donor Network Golf Invitational is going to be going down. Let's talk a little Masters stuff, yes. Nisha. So last year, Rory McIlroy, he does it. He gets the career Grand Slam. It has evaded him, that Masters green jacket, for a long time.
I try not to cry in golf, but I cried on that one.
Why?
Well, I've been watching Rory, since I was a little girl. So I've watched him compete, and I've watched him shoot 80 at the final round and lose the Masters, literally lose it.
Yeah.
And so to see him come this far, it just shows you, like, sometimes, there's a reality around the game where maybe it's time to set the clubs down, but that was never reality for Rory. And he believed in himself. That's a lot of hard work that we weren't seeing. That's a lot of mental work we weren't seeing. And so for him to do that and close that gap for
Yeah.
him was powerful.
And I mean, he's only one of 6 golfers now to
Yeah.
have the career Grand Slam, such a special achievement. Scotty Scheffler, I believe he's the betting favorite for the Masters
He
this
is
year.
by like a landslide.
By a landslide. This
Yeah.
is a guy who already won it twice, I
Yeah.
believe. Is he the guy who you would be choosing? Everybody at home
No.
wants to know who you are taking.
Scotty Scheffler, like after he got arrested at the PGA Championship
Yeah.
and then like went to jail, came out and won. I'm like, wow, you're like a badass.
I mean, they've been Happy Gilmore too. They've are showcasing it.
Yeah, and he like, he has such a great temperament. I love Scotty's temperament.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
that's what I love about golfers. Like it fits Scotty Scheffler.
It does.
With the beard and the kind of rugged kind of, I don't know. He kind of has a schlubbiness to him that is kind of interesting and cool, so it just everybody fits different, archetypes in the
Yes.
golf world. And that's why there's something endearing about Scheffler. It feels like he
is.
almost is just showing up and he just got done in a breakfast burrito,
Yeah.
that kind of vibe.
Yeah, he does. He's easygoing and nothing seems to bother him, which is obviously works in his favor.
Yeah. But why not? Why is he? Who are you picking? Why not him?
Well, I watched the PGA or the Players Championship a few weeks ago, and I saw a lot of young guns come up in that. They're the top 20. If you look back at the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass a few weeks ago, Ludwig Aberg, just played so well. And in the last round, and like also me and my sister think he's cute. So, I mean, he's 25, but he's still cute. And just the way he carries himself and his just.
Is this going to be the new face of golf?
He played such a great first 3 rounds. And then the final round, something was off. But I think it was more mental. And it reminded me of that Rory moment where he had it. And so it may not come too soon, but I do think that there's a good opportunity for him here, at least to finish in the top 10. There's so many great young players that we're seeing emerge now as the first time. And just when you think the game couldn't get any better, it does. It's crazy how the distance is picking up for a lot of these young guys.
People just keep raising the bar.
Yeah, and that's why it's even more impressive. So the beautiful thing about the Masters, right? It's not. This is a time where we're gonna see Vijay Singh come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna, and I'm, shout out to the Canadians. We're gonna see Mike Weir come back,
right?
And we get to watch some of those people that we grew up with. Like the Masters is when you're watching it. It has that special feeling because you get to see a lot of the players and the course carries so much history.
Yeah, there's a sentimental quality to just everything that the Masters, the pomp and circumstance of just everything. Did Vijay Singh mean a lot to you as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, Vijay and Tiger were, used to battle, especially at the Masters. Vijay has a very Scotty Scheffler vibe too. But Thursday and Friday, we're going to get to see some of those legends play with the big dogs, right? Now we got Dustin Johnson. We don't get to see him, play golf, and we love Dustin Johnson. And Paulina's outfits. Like, hopefully, I want to see Paulina. I want to see Dustin win just so I can see what Paulina's wearing.
See the
when
outfits.
She's like
Dustin Johnson, co-owner of the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, by the way.
Yes.
We love the Desert Dogs, a partner with us here at Silver State Sports. All right, how about let's do like a rapid fire, just a few questions that I'm curious about. I've never been to Augusta. The course there. Have you ever gotten the experience to play on it ever?
Never played.
You can't.
But definitely been a few times.
Yeah. What do you think about the course in general?
It's flawless. It's more hilly in terms of walking. Like I'm tired after 6 holes. It's so hilly. Lots of undulations around the greens. Undulations. Wow. I love that word.
Yeah.
We use it in golf a lot, inside.
I'm gonna start incorporating
I'm gonna write this
that.
stuff down.
Listen, my vernacular is just it's getting masterful today after spending a morning with Nisha. Undulations. I'm just gonna slide that into my vernacular all day.
You have the whole week. You have the whole week.
I'm gonna do
these words.
What's the best course in Las Vegas?
Oh gosh, that's a
no. You have
question.
to give me an answer.
So I'm a member at Las Vegas Country Club. So I love Las Vegas Country Club. I feel like the things that they're doing, you know, they're adding mulch and roses in different areas, and it's just they keep it so well maintained.
So that's your answer.
Well, I also like Shadow Creek.
Okay.
I love Cascada. I love the Cascada Club. See, you're talking to a woman, so
I mean, you know what? You know what's going down on October 5th at Las Vegas Country Club?
Yes.
So
which that's one of the reasons, because it's just such a welcoming course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Nevada Donor Network Golf Invitational. It's going to be going down October 5th, Las Vegas Country Club. You're going to be able to see Nisha. You're going to be able to see
Gordy.
Seema. You're going to be able to see Gordy. Is my dude Alonzo Mourning going to be there?
We're hoping. Yeah, we're waiting on the NBA schedule to pop up for 2026, 2027.
Yeah, you guys work with all the best. Have you ever had a pimento cheese sandwich at the Masters?
I have.
Well, grade it 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Is it a life changer?
I think you have to be a pimento.
You're not a pimento.
I don't. No.
What's the snacks you get at the Masters? We all
the
see
egg salad. I prefer that. Like pimento and egg salad are like the Sandies to get. So I like the egg salad.
Okay, it's really, and the prices are always very cheap.
Yeah,
you know
very cheap.
Why is that?
Well, because they're gonna get you in the merchandise store.
Gotcha. All right, so we know if you got to really be a hardcore pimento cheese fan to go for the pimento. If you're not, go for the egg salad.
Yeah, go for the egg salad.
See, we're learning all the things here. I would say we now know. Are you going with Ludwig to win? Who? Everybody at home wants to know your prediction.
I'm thinking Rory might double it up.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm thinking Rory might double it up. I know he hasn't had a good showing at, and I don't even know if he's actually competed lately, but I think that there's a reason, and I think his eyes are on the double jacket.
Wow, the double jacket. That would be a special moment. As we're wrapping up here, so tell us a little bit about, so you go to the University of Missouri, right? You end up golfing.
Well, can we talk about the ladies that are, learning about the Masters? Because one of the big things in golf is that a lot of women are jumping on the golf bandwagon. And so this is a great time for, the azalea flower is really, a topic of discussion because it's a lot of like pinks and, bright colors.
Yeah.
So azalea cocktails, because golf and cocktailing are really important.
I'm not aware of this connection. Is this a new thing you're saying this year? Why?
Well, we always have the 19th hole.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we're not playing in the Masters. We're patrons. At the Masters, they call spectators patrons.
Okay.
And so it's a great time for women, especially because now we're getting out of the cold season, to bring their brights. So bring your pinks, bring your greens, bring your blues. I busted open my brand new green eyeshadow palette. And so these are the colors of the season. And so they're reflective of what we'll hopefully see at the Masters for women spectators.
Okay, so patrons.
Patrons.
Yeah, make sure you're saying it right, Nisha.
I'm so sorry,
Come
Mike.
on, you said, spectators.
But I just want to recognize all the women that are taking time out of their schedules to find a way to be included in the game of golf. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's going to make the game more fun. And it's going to make our tournaments more fun. I know we had a big showing at the Nevada Donor Network of a lot of women last year, and I was really proud.
It's a special thing. And you don't just have to play. You could just enjoy,
Yeah.
But we definitely implore you to play as well. You can go to the nvdonornetwork.org, Nevada Donor Network.org, nvdonor.org. October 5th, that's when the Golf Invitational is going to be going down at Las Vegas Country Club. You could also go to pgdglobal.com, learn more about Nisha, Seema, all the great stuff you guys are doing. Everybody, the top people in the business. It's just, your whole website is just flooded with Cedric the Entertainer looking like he's having the best time of his life.
He is.
I mean, I got to get to one of the. I got to be a patron at a PGD Global event.
Well, you're coming to the Nevada Donor Network.
I'm going to be there for that, but I gotta get into some of these others that you guys put on because they look like, high level functions.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
This is gonna be a lot.
Don't be sad if you hit a bad shot.
I might find my future wife at a PGD Global event.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Too.
Well,
2 patrons, a meet cute. You never know what happens.
all the more reason that we need to
Pimento
bust
sandwich.
out azalea cocktails.
You have no clue what could happen. Next time you come back, we're gonna have to talk about Missouri. We'll talk
Yeah.
about your time on the tour. We'll talk about all those types of things.
That'd be amazing.
But you've shared so much today. Any last words?
I always I have so many to say, but no,
You're gonna leave.
just pray for Tiger and
Pray for Tiger.
And,
Rory's gonna win it.
and lock your spot in for Monday, October 5th for the Nevada Donor Network Invitational.
All right, there you go. nvdonor.org. Thank you so much, Nisha. We can't wait to meet Seema too.
Oh,
We
yeah.
gotta meet your sister.
She's the best.
You guys are a lot of fun together. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank
we
you, Mike.
appreciate it. Gordy, shout out to you. We'll see you next time here in the Den for Sound Off Sports.